What's up, guys? Welcome to a Rescue Michigan stream. Hold on one second, though. We are still trying to get on Facebook. I think we are on Facebook. Perfect. Well, it's another one of these unplanned streams tonight, but you know, uh, whenever legal documents drop, I can't help but report on them. And besides that, there was a funny email that went around today that people have been writing me about, asking me to talk about from this one particular individual. Robert Morris Owens, who, for those who don't know, he is a colorful character, to put it mildly, former attorney, convicted felon, all these other great things. And he is one of Kristina's henchmen, and he has put out a spicy email today, something about a fox in a hen house, which we will take a look at in just a moment. But I think maybe the first thing I want to do is look at the legal documents we got today. Now, this is from the old Kalamazoo case. And for those who don't know, there's two cases in Kalamazoo. The current one, they're both current. The new one is the one that is going to have a hearing tomorrow. And that is the case we've looked at on a suit brought by the chair of Kalamazoo County GOP, Kelly Sackett, suing Sabrina Pritchett Evans and others, including Kristina Karamo, for essentially creating this fake Kalamazoo GOP. They're having a hearing tomorrow on a restraining order against all of them. Karamo, Dan Hartman, the Kalamazoo people, seeking an order from the judge to stop them from claiming that this other entity is the Kalamazoo County GOP. We'll see tomorrow what the judge does. We got an actual live stream of the last hearing in this courtroom, so hopefully we will have a live stream for that tomorrow. I have a couple of inquiries out about what time the actual hearing tomorrow is, and I don't know just yet, but the last one was I just got my answer. 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. So there you go. 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. If at all possible, and I think it will be because the last one was, we will be live streaming that hearing. But we have some fresh documents in the other case that we're going to look at in just a moment here. Now, this other case was the one filed by the other side, by Sabrina Pritchett Evans and Kim Harris. They sued the Kalamazoo County GOP and Kelly Sackett, and they had four counts, four allegations, basically. Through the first three involved saying that they were improperly removed as executive committee members, et cetera, et cetera. And the judge ruled that because they failed to plead any violations of the bylaws, the case was dismissed. But there was a fourth count, and that was defamation of character. And apparently, because they said that this was an attempted coup, that was defamation per se, although that wasn't alleged in the original pleadings either. That was something they brought out later. But in fact, let me pull up the old case just to give you guys a quick refresher about this. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me pull this up on the screen. This was the original complaint, and you see there were these four things. Let me go down to the charges here. Well, charges, the counts. And they're asking for a declaration saying that they ignored the statute and the bylaws by seating delegates in statutory seats, that the statutes clearly states cannot be done lawfully. Anyway, the judge dismissed all of these three counts. But this other one, this libel or slander, they claim that Sackett defamed them with false propaganda via text message and in a press release, marring their character and reputations. And he says, doing a simple Google search of the plaintiffs' names pulls these negative and false accusations to light, and it is foreseeable that any future endeavors for public office will bring to light the tainted reputation that Kelly Sackett and the Kalamazoo GOP intentionally meant to do. And what exactly did they claim that they were being slandered and libeled by having said? It's become clear that the small group of delegates from Kalamazoo County who are running for district executive committee and state committee seats had likely orchestrated this apparent quote-unquote coup d'etat with the help of factions within other counties. This move seemed expressly for the purpose of getting elected at any cost, and in this case, it was likely the sovereignty of their neighbors and fellow member delegates from Kalamazoo. This stems from a fight they had at the state convention, which came up not long after that, or just before that. And that was in, I think it was in late February of this past year. So anyway, so the judge dismisses everything else in this case, and this one just sticks around for defamation. And it's been kicking back and forth for quite some time now. So we had this reply brief that came up the other day. We went through this, I believe, on a stream not too long ago. This is Matt DePerno's memo on the defamation per se standard that the other side never really argued until they realized they had to. And then they claimed that because the words coup d'etat imply criminal activity, that therefore this is defamation per se. So we went through all this the other day, but then there was this this more recent there's a couple of more recent things. One from Sabrina Evans' attorney, that's this one, and then or Pritchett Evans, and then two other motions from Matt DePerno, which we'll look at as well. And the reason I bring these up is because this same judge involving these same parties is having a hearing on a different case, but similar issues tomorrow. So this is all things that may have just been brought to the judge's attention. I don't know, maybe not, but they were filed very recently. So first we have this notice of objection to the January 29th, 2024 orders submitted by Matt DePerno. Now, these are orders that attorneys often will submit, like a proposed order to a judge. Like, judge, this is exactly what we want you to sign off on. We've even given you the dotted line to sign on. Just sign here, judge. And of course, that's not necessarily what the judge is going to do, but that's what they're asking the judge to do. So Sabrina Pritchett Evans and Kim Harris's attorney, James Thomas, sends this notice of objection to the orders proposed by Matt DePerno. It says the first paragraph under it is so ordered, granting defendants motion for summary disposition as to defendants Republican Party of Kalamazoo County for the reasons on the record, who are all dismissed with prejudice, because that dismissed with prejudice means you can't just refile it someplace else. The plaintiffs object to this language. Okay. Upon information and belief, the court did not dismiss with prejudice, and a transcript is being ordered from the proceeding in its entirety. No, but that's what they're asking for. The second paragraph, that the defendant's motion for summary disposition is granted in part and denied in part, is to Kelly Sackett for the reasons stated on the record. This case shall proceed to trial as to the limited issue of whether the term coup d'etat is defamation per se. All other claims against Kelly Sackett are dismissed with prejudice. And this is, let me see if I can find it here. Hold on, guys. I think I've got, yeah, I do. Hold on. I got to switch the screens here. This might be what this was in reference to. I'm not entirely sure, but this was a proposed stipulated order. Let me make this bigger here so you guys can see it. In the court of Kalamazoo. Joint stipulated facts and exhibits. This is a proposed agreement between Matt DePerno and James Thomas, the attorneys for the two parties. Hereby submit the following joint stipulated facts and exhibits prior to the trial scheduled for March 12th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. The trial concerns only Kelly Sackett as the defendant. Kelly Sackett is the duly elected chairwoman of the Kalamazoo County Republican Party. Plaintiffs conducted little to no discovery in this case. Plaintiffs did not file a witness list. Plaintiffs have no admissible statements, facts, documents, or exhibits. No, this probably was not what I'm thinking of, because, or what the other document was referencing, because that one was a proposed order. So that wasn't this, but this kind of sets the tone for what Matt DePerno's going for here. And we've looked at some of these other things in previous streams, but these are two new motions just filed today by Matt DePerno. So let's look at these two. Hold on, I got to bring it up here. Here we go. So the first one, defendant's motion and brief in limine to limit plaintiff's proofs to the term coup d'etat and to dismiss the plaintiff's case. Defendant Kelly Sackett, by and through attorneys, blah, blah, blah. Defamation per se standard. Plaintiffs did not present evidence of damages during this case, did not testify regarding damages, and have not proved in damages. Again, folks, the whole thing here is the case that they brought, that Sabrina Evans and Kim Harris brought, was to try to get themselves reinstated on the Kalamazoo County GOP. That was the purpose of it. The defamation stuff was secondary. That was the fourth of four claims, but it was the only one that didn't get dismissed. So instead of just saying, okay, we give up, they're going out and fighting this to the end. And so the problem is They had no case because all their claim was, yeah, they called it a coup. Like as if this isn't things that these same people do all the time. Like as if Kristina Karamo's supporters aren't calling her removal a coup. I mean, what hypocrites are they? You know, because they all use that term freely. That was a coup of the state party, but to call this a coup is defamation per se. We are entitled to damages. Now, of course, no one's going to sue Kristina Karamo or her people for defamation per se because it's stupid. There's no point, and it's ridiculous. So, thus, in their responses to defendant's motion for summary disposition, they retreated to the newly raised. Oh, you know what? I might actually have this. Now that I think of it, let me look at this. Let me see if this is it. No, this is not it. This is what I just looked at. Hold on. Thing here. No, I don't have it. Sorry. Oh well. Anyway, hold on. Where are we? Where were we? Something happened here. Oh, this was the old complaint we were looking at a second ago. No, here we are. Plaintiffs did not present evidence of damages during this case, did not testify regarding damages, and have not proven any damages. Thus, in their responses to defendant's motion for summary disposition, they retreated to the newly raised argument that their defamation claim is a defamation per se claim, because you have to either show damages or else say the charges, the statements made were so egregious, it's defamation per se. They called me a criminal, for example. You know, if someone was to say, and I'm not saying this, you know, so-and-so is a child molester, that would be defamation per se if it was not true. This is the first time we have heard this new argument. They did not plead defamation per se in their complaint. Instead, a quick word search of the entire complaint reveals the term defamation per se does not exist. Therefore, or rather, count 4 alleges only the defamation occurred through a press release, a text message, and a censure, which plaintiffs talk about generally, but not specifically. The claim for defamation per se exists only if 1, is properly pleaded, and 2, the alleged defamatory statement includes statement regarding chastity or criminal conduct. Indeed, the court rule states each allegation must be clear, concise, and direct. Complaint must contain the statement of facts without repetition, on which the pleader relies in stating the cause of action, and the specific allegations necessary reasonably to inform the adverse party of the nature of the claim to be the adverse party is called on to defend. So this is similar to what we saw earlier in what we looked at a few weeks ago. This is see, this is similar stuff here. But now they say the court dismissed the plaintiff's defamation claim except for defamation per se. This apparently already happened. So now they are only down to defamation per se. Plaintiffs have no expert witness to testify. Let me make this bigger. Hold on. Can I make this? Yeah, okay. This is much better. Sorry, folks. In the chat, guys, you know, you can let me know if you're having trouble seeing things. Oh, now it's too big. There we go. Here, how about this? That's better. Obviously, plaintiffs cannot introduce a dictionary definition because it would be heresy or hearsay, irrelevant, inadmissible, and misleading, and it would be prejudicial and confusing, among other reasons, including but not limited to the fact that plaintiffs have made no effort during this case to introduce evidence on the term. To create the illusion of a viable claim in their response to defendant's motion for summary disposition, plaintiffs relied on dictionary.com to falsely state that coup d'etat means illegal. And there, I guess, is the dictionary.com, which actually does not say it's automatically illegal. It says especially if it's illegal, but doesn't have to be. It just means a sudden and decisive action in politics. Interestingly, the Webster Dictionary applies a different definition, a sudden decisive exercise of force in politics. And there that is. American Heritage Dictionary defines coup d'etat. This is also silly. This is also silly. Obviously, it's, you know, it's a typical rhetorical flourish. Kristina Karamo says, the hoaxer people engaged in a coup d'etat. That's not defamation. That's retarded. So who can see what the term means? The answer is obvious, a linguistics expert. However, plaintiffs did not hire or disclose a linguistics expert. And so they go through all this stuff. Plaintiffs have not listed any linguistic expert witnesses, have not produced any expert reports, have not permitted defendants the opportunity to conduct any depositions regarding any expert, because such expert does not exist. Therefore, the court must rule that any testimony by plaintiffs themselves is irrelevant, inadmissible, hearsay, still spelled wrong but closer, and misleading, not to mention opening the door to unfair prejudice, confusion, and a waste of time. Plaintiffs cannot authenticate the press releases, censures, or text messages they complain about. And here they say count 4 of the complaint alleges only the defamation occurred through a press release, a text message, and a censure, which plaintiffs talk about generally but not specifically. No other alleged defamation per se has been alleged. Indeed, during discovery, defendants sent plaintiffs discovery requests and asked the same of both plaintiffs. Produce all correspondences, communications, and documents to support count 4 of your complaint. Sabrina answered, previously produced KGOP press releases, censure letters, and messages. Kim Harris responded the exact same thing. Sabrina Pritchett Evans produced a text message. Kim Harris did not produce any documents. Let's see what the text message is. Exhibit 3. Where's Exhibit 3? Exhibit 3. This, I assume, is from Kelly Sackett, but I could be wrong. A hostile faction of Kalamazoo County delegates aligned with Ottawa County delegates to disenfranchise and steal the sovereignty of the Kalamazoo County Republican Party and to violate the equal protection rights of Kalamazoo County delegates. The coup resulted in Kalamazoo County being stripped of its right to caucus and select its nominees in the same manner as all other counties and severely diminished the voting power of friendly Kalamazoo County delegates. Did Kristina Karamo's people try to steal the election of Kristina Karamo at that convention by disenfranchising a county delegation? Seems like they did. Weird. The only vote fraud Kristina Karamo has done anything about, despite campaigning on fighting vote fraud, is to perpetrate it herself for her own benefit. Anyway, there's the text message. And they go through these. Plaintiffs never conducted a deposition regarding the censures. They cannot authenticate who sent it. And they actually never authenticated the press release. They never authenticated the other press release. They never authenticated the text message. Yeah, there is like standards of evidence, folks. You can't just say something and just show a screenshot. So this is the end. Wherefore, defendants request this court grant this motion and enter for an order striking, limiting plaintiff's defamation per se claim to only the term coup d'etat, then striking as evidence the alleged text message, press releases, and censures for reasons stated herein, then preventing plaintiffs from mentioning the term coup d'etat or the text message, press releases, and censures, and then dismissing the case because plaintiffs have no relevant and admissible evidence for trial. But that's not all. They also filed this one. Motion and brief in limine to strike plaintiff's final witness list or in the alternative to dismiss the plaintiff's case. Because on June 22nd, 2023, bit of a typo there, this court and the attorneys for the party signed a scheduling order. The order stated that they shall file these exchange of witnesses, including experts, by 60 days for the plaintiff, 90 days for the defendant from June 2023. Defendants had already filed a witness list on June 19th, 2023. The only document filed by plaintiffs was a document titled Plaintiff's Witness List for Evidentiary Hearing scheduled for July 3rd, 2023. That list specifically states in 3 places that it is only for the evidentiary hearing scheduled for July 3rd. Oops. Otherwise, plaintiffs never filed a witness list. Indeed, plaintiffs did not even put their own names on a witness list. Defendants are permitted to rely on plaintiffs' failure to file a witness list. And there's just some case citations about that, hey, turns out deadlines matter, and you didn't file a witness list. So in this case, the factors favor either dismissing the case or excluding plaintiffs' witnesses. They have no good cause for not filing their witness list. The court cannot properly conclude plaintiffs from calling any witnesses. Second, there's no indication that the failure to file a witness list was accidental. To the contrary, plaintiffs' entire discovery strategy, not doing anything significant, demonstrates their desire to either not engage in this case or keep their witness list a secret. Counsel has now filed the witness list well after the deadline. Defendant's motion for summary disposition on November 3rd, and in that motion stated scheduling order and witness list. The court's scheduling order required that the parties file and exchange a list of witnesses, including experts by, and here we are again, those dates. And they didn't do it. So plaintiffs responded on January 15th, 2024, and stated the plaintiffs in this case are only 2 people need to testify as to the facts in this case. That's Sabrina Pritchett Evans and Kim Harris. Nobody else. The defendants seem to believe that the plaintiffs are in need of further witnesses. The court will apply the law as to the facts and find evidence that is presented. That this is hubris, but it's embarrassing because the court will apply, as it says here, the statement demonstrates plaintiffs clearly understand that they filed no witness list and they need no witnesses. But plaintiffs have now listed former state party chief of staff, Joel Studebaker, on their final witness list. However, the only claim left in this case is defamation per se. On July 19th, 2023, defendants conducted the deposition of Mr. Studebaker, in which the following exchange occurred. Robin Peake is an ex officio member of the Republican State Committee. Is that correct? Answer. This is from Studebaker. I believe so. I'm not sure. In these messages say she talks about Muslims in a derogatory way. Would you agree with that? No, I'm not. I haven't read it yet. Well, please read it then. Quote, or no, I'm sorry, not quote. Now, this is when the lawyers start saying things. So the lawyer for Sabrina Pritchett Evans says, can you elaborate where we're going into Robin Peake and Muslims for this case? DePerno says, yeah, it's been an exhibit. The other lawyer says, I know it's an exhibit, but why in this deposition are we talking about this? So DePerno says, well, because it goes specifically into your defamation claim. I can ask the witness. He's someone, and Mr. Thomas then cuts him off. He's not a witness to the defamation. He's not a witness. Oops. Other witnesses. Plaintiffs also listed, quote, any witness previously identified and disclosed by the defendant or plaintiff in its previous disclosures. This attempt to incorporate essentially anyone is not permitted. The court must also strike plaintiffs' unidentified witnesses. Both the scheduling order and the court rules require plaintiffs to actually list the names of the witnesses. Wherefore, defendants request this court grant this motion and enter for an order striking plaintiffs' witness list for trial dated February 8th and preventing plaintiffs' prevent plaintiffs from calling any witnesses at trial or in the alternative dismissing this case for violating the court's scheduling order and the court rules. So there you go. That's the latest filing in the old Kalamazoo case. And if the judge has seen this today, that's a nice setting of the table for the hearing tomorrow. That DePerno's on top of his stuff. The other side is not. Their lawyers are botching deadlines, missing things. And it's all, again, the same cast of characters that they're going to be involved tomorrow. So there you go. All right. Now, the other thing I've been asked to cover is this email that was sent to apparently precinct delegates in Michigan, although I didn't get one, but I think I'm on their do not send emails list, as if people don't send me these things anyway. And this is an email from, we'll skip to the bottom of it, from Robert Morris Owens, JD. That's an interesting title he goes by. R. Morris Owens, JD. That's weird. I mean, it's not unusual for people to go by their middle names. My uncle goes by Kirk, but that's his middle name. His first initial is E. But some people do that. But it'd be weird if Robert Morris Owens had like a history of where, you know, his first name was known more than his middle name was known, you know? Also, JD is weird too. Because JD is Juris Doctor. That's a college degree. But usually when you're a lawyer, I mean, you know, a lot of people don't like, you know, using their hoity-toity advanced degrees in their name because it's just kind of pompous. But if you were to, maybe it's because you want to demonstrate that you are, for example, a lawyer, which JD unfortunately does not do. JD means you have a law degree. It doesn't mean you're a lawyer. Esquire would mean you're a lawyer. The reason, there's actually a reason for this, folks. Which unfortunately is that Robert Morris Owens is no longer a practicing attorney. In fact, he had his law license revoked, and we'll look at this right now. There was like some news stories about it. In fact, yeah, here it is. Former Delaware County attorney guilty of stealing more than $100,000 from clients. The Delaware County attorney was sentenced Monday to 2.5 years of community control and ordered to repay his former clients more than $100,000 for the work he never completed. An Ohio Supreme Court last year suspended Robert Morris Owens indefinitely after evidence showed that he had bilked clients out of thousands of dollars and lied to them about the work promised to them. He was accused of deceitful and dishonest conduct, failing to communicate and failing to provide a timely refund to 4 separate clients. So he stole their money. He was later indicted in Delaware County on 5 theft charges, 4th and 5th degree felonies, which is, by the way, not the first time he was facing legal problems for these same kind of issues. But at this point, now this has happened multiple times, the courts are getting fed up with this stuff. So he was later indicted on 5 theft charges, 4th and 5th degree felonies. He pleaded guilty to each of the counts, but after he told the New America conservative podcast, he's a John Birch Society guy. He was writing for the New American magazine that they publish. But the charges were fabricated in part due to his unsuccessful 2010 bid for Ohio Attorney General, in which now Governor Mike DeWine defeated him. Ever since then, he's used his pressure to come after me and constantly harass me, tens of thousands of dollars in fees to fight all kinds of spurious charges. This, folks, goes to something that we see in sociopaths all the time, the pity play. Because you can't be suspicious of someone that you pity. So always it's, poor me, I'm someone else's victim. You see this all over the place. But, there's actually quite a bit of documentary evidence about all these things. And that's really where, we talked about this yesterday, kind of where you look to when you're looking to see, okay, who do I trust? Who do I believe? Well, is there evidence of things? Well, again, he pleaded guilty. He was presented and represented by counsel, and he was represented by a public defender. He apparently spent the money because the defendant is indigent and unable to employ private counsel. The court, at defendant's request, hereby appoints the Delaware County Public Defender's Office to represent him in his case for his appeal. Okay. So yeah, he submitted this statement to the court. I, Robert M. Owens, being present in open court and accompanied by my counsel, and being fully informed by my counsel and by the court of the nature of the charges against me, the maximum penalty, if found guilty, is all this time. I hereby withdraw my former plea of guilty. I think I meant not guilty to counts 1 through 6 of the indictment, with counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 being thefts, all felonies of the 5th degree, and the count 5 being grand theft, a felony of the 4th degree in violation of sections 2913.02A3. I acknowledge that as to the thefts set forth in counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, I may be sentenced to a definite term of these many months. And also, this is what the other count's going to get me. The promises, threats, or inducements have been made, et cetera, yada, yada, yada. And so he has, this is his financial disclosure form. And you can see the employer's name, JBS. That is John Birch Society. In case anyone's questioning, maybe it's not the same guy. Seems to be the same guy. That's the John Birch Society's address right there. So there you go. It's also this. Affidavit of Terry Owens. My name is Terry Owens. I was married to Robert Owens for 24 years. We separated in September 1st, 2018, but our marriage had been crumbling for years. For most of our marriage, we worked together in Robert's solo law office. I worked for him in his office. He was frequently dishonest with clients and opposing counsel, inattentive to client matters, non-responsive to client calls, careless with client funds. Another thing of sociopaths, bad with money. Almost like these people have some kind of diagnosable condition. Lack of conscience. They lie constantly. Robert was having an affair. Discovered he was hiring multiple escorts. I had the pastor try to help our marriage. It didn't work. Later that same evening, he forcibly moved back into our house, removed property, and orchestrated an ambush using friends we fellowshiped with in church years. He quickly got ahead of the narrative about our marriage, started smearing me with numerous false allegations to members of the community in our various circles. These false allegations included that I had an affair or multiple affairs, that I engaged in swinging / threesomes with local couples, that I'm a drug abuser, that I torched his finances, that I trashed his law office, that I embezzled funds from his office, and that I fabricated the evidence of his escorts. Months of drama ensued after the ambush as Robert actively terrorized me and my friends with false allegations, resulting in multiple responses from the police to the house, 2 civil protection order filings, 5 grievances against Robert. On January 3rd, the morning after forcibly moving back into the marital residence for a second time, Robert filed for divorce, listing only incompatibility as grounds. I filed a counterclaim, listing adultery, gross neglect, and extreme cruelty as grounds. After almost 4 years, the court granted the divorce to me on the grounds of adultery, dismissed Robert's complaint. The court also found Robert to have engaged in pervasive financial misconduct and financial abuse, to have substantially and willfully failed to make full and complete disclosure, to have fraudulently answered discovery on behalf of a third party. That means he helped someone else lie to the court, and to be voluntarily underemployed. He was terminated by the John Birch Society on June 1st, 2023. He hasn't made child support payments since June. He is currently $93,000 in arrears on child support payments. He owes me $21,531.43 in equalization payments. There's Robert Morris Owens for you guys. So let's see what Robert Morris Owens has to say to us today, shall we? Now, this couldn't possibly have anything to do with the county conventions coming up and trying desperately to spin a narrative. So here we have this this email, which I have copied into Word, so it doesn't showing you my email stuff. And I didn't get it directly from them. People forward me these things. This is from Michigan Republican Policy, as if that's an organization that exists. It is not. It is just some guy from Ohio. I didn't copy the footer over, but it was registered in some nonsense address in Arkansas or something. And here's what he says: "Dear friend, Ronna McDaniel is not your friend. In fact, 2 bombshell investigative journalism pieces just released. It is clear that Ronna is a sworn enemy of grassroots Republicans in Michigan and nationwide. Her actions say that loud and clear." Well, will they? We'll see. "Just recently, we have educated you about a notorious deep state law firm named Warner, Norcross, and Judd. Our timing could not have been better." Warner, Norcross, and Judd, of course, is the law firm that is representing the plaintiffs in the suit by Melinda Pago and others against Kristina Karamo. So they're doing what you expect them to do: slander everybody and everybody in the orbit. Now exposed as a globalist front organization via our email sent on the 5th, unmasking the globalist legal network, was paid millions of dollars by GBI Industries to cover up massive 2020 voter fraud. This is defamation per se, guys. But let's stop for a moment and see. First off, we're going to look at all this carefully. But first off, Warner, Norcross. Let's see who they are, shall we? This is their website, WNJ.com. Ooh, they got a fancy website. Let's see. Offices. 9 offices, it looks like, all over Michigan. Big looking offices, as a matter of fact. But I don't know. Looks like they have probably a lot of attorneys. So let's see. People. Okay, here we go. Here's their attorneys: 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, 92, 100, and we're on H. This company hires they employ 200 some attorneys. 200 some attorneys. Do you think that these guys are some globalist cabal and not just like attorneys that all kinds of people hire for all kinds of tasks? I'm going to go back. I want to see something again. What's their is there any like specialty area they have? Let's see here. Do at the top, practice. Oh, wow. They have attorneys in all kinds of specializations. Everything from taxes to white collar criminal defense to real estate to mergers and acquisitions. Seems like a professional corporation. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. But let's go back to what Mr. Convicted Ohio Felon says. Let's see here. Share screen. So, again, defamation per se. A globalist front organization that was paid millions of dollars to cover up massive 2020 voter fraud. Sounds like a pretty specific allegation of a crime right there. A bribe to cover up a crime. Now, the problem is, we looked at Robert Owens a moment ago, and he doesn't exactly have money. So I don't know what suing him for defamation would do for you. Because what are you going to do? You get an order, but so what? This was the haul from just one raid on a GBI stash house in Southfield, Michigan. And this is all now talking about vote fraud. And also they're deeply involved in advancing communism in the United States. Again, this is libel. That's what this is. They are officially lawyers for the CCCP through a communist front company named Goshen. Well, we've all seen Goshen in the news. But that being said, just because they're attorneys for a company doing business in America does not mean they are part of the Chinese Communist conspiracy. It just means they're doing what their clients ask them to do. As, by the way, any ordinary law firm would. You know, that's kind of how that business works. Likewise with this GBI stuff. Well, let's go on for this. Let's see if he comes back to GBI. Otherwise, what is this? It's just smearing. So this law firm is an evil company because some of their clients are these particular customers. Why is this background information important? Because on her way out the door, is she though? I've heard conflicting stories about that. Rana put Warner Norcross in charge of election integrity in Michigan. And let's see, there's this link here, I think. Yeah, there's a link here. Let me see if I can open it. I've been prevented from accessing the following page. It is some kind of click tracker. Blocked by, okay, whatever. I'll open it anyway. And we get this link to, let me open this up here. I got to open a new window. This is from Joe Hoft, who is the more conspiratorial minded of the two brothers. Jim Hoft runs gatewaypundit.com. This apparently was put up by his brother on his own website. Same law from the defended GBI strategies as Michigan's top election integrity attorney. ... wants Kristina out. So what? Again, this is just pure smear tactics. What do they say? Embattled GOP chair Ronna Romney McDaniel targeted Michigan GOP chair after potential fraud was uncovered in Michigan related. How did she target her? What did Ronna have to do with any of this? The state committee members removed her. Ronna had nothing to do with it at all. Researchers in Michigan, whoever they are, have learned the same law firm suing to remove Kristina Karamo, the first black chair of the Michigan Republican Party, has represented a shadowy Democrat contractor, GBI Strategies. So what? This is the entire evidence of this. Is this apparently this complaint? Michigan Department of State Police, and it's hard to read. Can I make this bigger? While waiting for the search warrant, blank approached me and stated the attorney for blank wanted to speak with me. His name was Brian Lennon, and he was with the law firm Warner Norcross and Judd. So what? That's all there is here. The Michigan State Police report dated October 26, 2020 details the investigation of GBI Strategies. So GBI Strategies, which may well be a criminal enterprise, I'm not saying they're not, call up Warner Norcross. Hey, we're being raided. Need someone to talk to. I need an attorney to talk to the cops. Okay. Hey, you give a warrant? Oh, you do? Okay. What's even more interesting, though, is that WNJ is currently suing to remove the Michigan GOP chairwoman. Yeah, their attorney is the counsel for Melinda Pago and the others. The only Michigan GOP chair ever to make election integrity a top priority. How? She's done nothing for election integrity other than disenfranchise the Kalamazoo County delegation to get herself elected chair. Below is a snapshot of the front page of the lawsuit filed against MIGOP chair. Whoop-de-doo. Yes, they have lawyers. What are the chances that this law firm, which represented the most notorious suspect in any Michigan 2020 election fraud investigation, is now also targeting the same Kristina Karamo, who authorized her election integrity team to release the above police report on GBI strategies? Zero. Because they're not targeting. They're the attorneys for a party in a suit against her. And even if somehow they were involved in it, that still doesn't prove anything. They're just a law firm. Above is an alleged image of Troy Cummings, partner at Warner Norcross and Judd. Yeah, he's the guy that did all the research on that massive 140-page expose of how Kristina Karamo destroyed the Michigan Republican Party. What do he know about election law, by the way? Let's ask that question. Let's see here. Who is this? What is it? Cummings. Let's see. I'm sure you can find him someplace. Yeah, there he is. Oh, he's a partner. Of course, so is this guy. And well, I'm looking at the C's here. Another partner, another partner, another partner, another partner, another partner, another partner, executive partner. Yeah, so they have a lot of partners in this firm. Anyway, so who is this guy? Governmental appointments. Michigan Office of the Attorney General-elect, that'd be Bill Schuette, Transition Director. Assistant Attorney General under Attorney General Bill Schuette for 2 years. And various other appointments in the Rick Snyder administration. Oh, there's more? Oh, yeah. Clerked for federal judges. Worked in legislators' offices. So this is a guy that understands law and politics. Maybe that's why he was involved in all this stuff, because he knows what he's talking about. Anyway, getting back to this breaking exclusive. We learned from a FOIA released by an obscure Twitter researcher, Cummings apparently sent an email alerting the FBI to the Jesse Jacob whistleblower scandal that erupted in the House floor of the TCF Center during the 2020 election in Detroit. Good for him. The FBI likely received many similar alerts after the 2020 election debacle, and at any rate did nothing to bring justice to Mrs. Jacob, countless whistleblowers, or Michigan voters. Yeah, because the FBI itself was controlled at the top and people that are trying to overthrow the Trump administration. And after January 20th, we're reporting to Joe Biden. So here's this guy. A DOJ official conveyed alarming allegations of ballot fraud in Detroit and requested FBI to look into this, please. What do you think happened next? And then we can zoom in on this maybe. Let's see here. You received this complaint. I'll chat with you at 5:30 p.m. Sent from Matthew Schneider. Matthew Schneider. Where have I heard that name before? Oh, yeah. He used to be chairman of the Washington County Republican Party. What happened to Matt Schneider? He quit the FBI as soon as Biden got sworn in because he knew they were cleaning house there. Anyway, so that's his bombshell story. And that's all of it. But this, of course, they can't help themselves. He appears to be an environmentalist and partnered a woke law firm. Because why? He appears to be an environmentalist. These people are bigots. Can you guys see what bigots these people are? Look at this. Is this why he's an environmentalist? Because he was an attorney for the DEQ under Rick Snyder? At a woke law firm pushing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's see what this fabulous link goes to. Oh, because they have a statement that, is pretty much boilerplate for every major company these days. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like it. But that doesn't mean these people are environmental activists. It means they're doing the same standard stuff every company these days is doing. Made it his official mission to bring lobbying strains of K Street to Lansing. Oh, yeah? This link going to tell me how? Oh, it does say that here. Bringing the lobbying strains of K Street to Lansing in the government affairs practice. Well, so what does that mean? It means he's an attorney for government, for government lobbyists. Yeah, that's a job that some people have. So what? That doesn't prove anything. Anyway, that's the hit piece. Troy Cummings. He's a lobbyist. He's a lobbyist. He's an attorney for a law firm. This says a lot about McDaniel's efforts to address the numerous election integrity efforts in the state while trying to remove current Michigan GOP chair Kristina. This is just a pure smear piece, folks. There's nothing in this. Let's get back to Mr. Disbarred Felon who steals money from his clients. Where's that document? Here we go. Run as Fox in the Hen House is a lawyer named Troy Cummings. This is all just a rehash of the article, so we've seen this before. Troy Cummings is the specific lawyer at Warner Norcross and Judd that is in charge of covering up election fraud for Ronna McDaniel and the globalist aligned donor class. This is libel. I almost hope he sues him for libel just for the hell of it. He has law partners with the above named Brian Lennon. We just looked at this. They have 100 partners at this firm, 100 people. There is no good reason on the planet that the same law firm that would take millions of dollars from GBI strategies to commit voter fraud, again, this is pure libel, folks. This is serious. Would also be the same law firm independently chosen to be an election integrity specialist for the RNC? Yes, there is. Of course there is. They have lawyers in all kinds of specialties. This is simply not a legitimate appointment in any way. Yes, it is. In fact, it's clear violation of legal ethics for conflict of interest. No, it isn't. I hope you're insulted by how stupid, he says, run around. I hope you're insulted by how stupid these people think you are, folks. I mean, this is embarrassing. It's just not that hard to analyze the past and project the lines for 2024. Trump will win in a landslide, not with people like Kristina Karamo in charge of various state parties because they don't have any money for the get out the vote operation. That's what's critical. Then the absentee ballots will pour it in a miracle of miracles. Biden gets another shocking surprise win. The RNC will investigate, and good old Troy will find evidence of any problems. This is all just speculation. Or that anyone else that pays his law for millions in protect. Again, these are very specific criminal allegations that they've given zero substantiation to. Warner Norcross may be evil, but these guys are not stupid. This is what, of course, I'm reading from this idiot here. I'm not saying this myself. They know that if they're to succeed in their plans to help the globalists steal the 2024 election, they must take Kristina Karamo out as MIGOP chair first. She is simply too dangerous. This is borderline retarded. I'm honestly shocked that anyone could take this crap seriously, but this is the stuff that, frankly, actually does work for some people, folks. That's why we're covering this. That's why we're talking about this. Because people need to have their intellect replace the knee-jerk emotional reactions they're going to get by this. That's what Kristina Karamo banks on, is they're all out to get me. Feel sorry for me. I'm with you. I'm the good guy. And this is the second of two breaking articles about Ronna McDaniel. This is the same article. Kristina Karamo targeted after uncovering potential fraud related to Ronna McDaniel. Let's look at this just to see, because this might be something else, although it looks equally ridiculous to me. Same website, joehoff.com. This is from 2 weeks ago. Let's see this here. targeted after uncovering potential fraud related to Ron Romney McDaniel. Interesting term, potential fraud. She uncovered potential fraud. How does that work? Do you have evidence of this fraud? By the way, also, folks, another thing too to members, Ron Romney McDaniel has no control over the 168 members of the RNC. They're going to do what they want to do. Why was Karamo such a threat to the elites in the Michigan Republican Party? Because she was breaking the party and destroying it financially and also legally. And it was all just slander for the most part. Let's see. Anything we don't know? To just shit this guy's making up. We've been over this 100 times on this stream, so no sense going through this again. Turns out the real reason Karamo was being attacked is because she was getting very close to uncovering potential fraud related to the former MI-GOP head, Ron Romney McDaniel, and she doesn't want this getting out. Oh, yeah? Like what? Is Karamo, who's supposed to be out raising money, running some kind of detective operation? She had a hard time getting the numbers for the GOP's bank account balances. Why don't you call the bank? This is just unbelievably ridiculous. A court battle filed in December 2020. The suit revolved around a property that the Michigan Republican Party, run by Karamo, claimed was the party's property. Nope. In fact, another group, the Michigan Republican Party Trust, which owns the building, made claims they own the property. And yet this organization is not recognized as a political party or state central committee because the party and the state central committee can't own property. We've been over this, folks, so many times on the stream. I'm not going to go back over all this again. This is journalistic malpractice at its worst. Joe Hoft should be ashamed of himself. And if you still read Joe Hoft in the Gateway Pundit, you should be ashamed of yourself too, folks. But let's go back to this email. And it's almost over, I promise. Oops, hold on. Let me bring it back up. So this affidavit from Grant Golesa specifically fingers Troy Cummings as part of the plot to take out Kristina Karamo since the moment she took office. And here's this affidavit from Grant Golesa. It says, I'm a state committee member elected from the 10th. I was contacted by Warren Carpenter seeking my support for a signature for a petition on the vote on removal. I'm familiar with Warren Carpenter, known to be the voice on these calls. What calls? The calls we're about to hear about. And he said, I was offered in writing via text. I'll make a promise. If you run for anything in the future, I'll personally get you past the primary. That is a promise. In order to persuade me to sign the petition, which I interpreted as an attempt to bribe me. Well, I don't know, folks. First off, I don't know if this is even true. There's no evidence here. There's just a statement. Secondly, even if it is true, it's pretty obvious what this means. You know, it's like if you say, I promise, I'm going to get you elected. No one can make that promise because how do you know you won't? How do you know you won't lose? It's a rhetorical promise. I'll do whatever it takes for you. You know, I'm there for you no matter what. So if you interpreted that as a petition to bribe you, Grant, then you are a moron. After refusing to sign the petition, I was told by Warren Carpenter via on voicemail. It seems like there's some context missing here, folks, and we've heard this. We've heard this. The other day we did a stream where we actually played the Ken Barr video where they played the audio for this, which is absolutely proper, as proper as any Trump phone call ever was. Quote, I can't wait for the day that you try to run for anything. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows this entire fucking state that you stood by and you did absolutely nothing. You are a coward. You are a weak coward. I'm so furious with you right now. You know better than this. You'll never hold a single office anywhere in your life again. I will make it my personal mission to run against you in any place you do anything, knowing what you know and being on the budget committee and then making these bullshit arguments the way you have here. The way you have. I hope you share this with everybody because I'm coming. I cannot believe you. Again, anything that you try to run for, I will make sure that you don't ever get over the finish line. I'll make it my life mission to work against you in anything that you put your name in for. Nothing improper about that. Yeah, Tim Coon says, lol. Yeah. How about that part where he says, I hope you share this with everybody? because that's all it is. And note the moral outrage. You're on the budget committee. You know you're supporting criminals. How dare you? It's righteous, justifiable outrage. In one conversation during the time he sought my signature, I was told that the removal had been planned, including the drafting of the lawsuit, during the call with a man purporting to be Troy Cummings. So, I recorded my phone calls with Warren Carpenter as a part of the conversation. I hope there's no law in Michigan that says you can't do that, Grant. I hope that's not a felony in Michigan, because otherwise you just certified a document saying that you committed a felony. I hope that's not a problem for you, Grant. Just saying. Anyway, let's not forget that Warren Carpenter is a paid henchman for John Yob. Evidence needed. Has taken at least $13,000 directly from Pete Hoekstra per FEC records. Really? Funny, there's no link there for that one, is there? And then there's just a typical smear. Warren Carpenter's drinking buddy. Carpenter is a drunk, and such a menace as a drunk that behind the wheel, he became a felon because of it. I hope there's no other Warren Carpenter in California, because that also seems like a pretty specific criminal allegation. Robert. It'd be a shame if this is a different guy. Calling him a fugitive to the law. Repeating this again. This is a text message that Warren sent to Galassa on December 28th. I know you're traveling. Please, can you let me know your choice when you get a couple minutes, please? Thanks, Grant. We really need you here. I'll make a promise you run for anything. We just read this. We were over this already. Warren Carpenter knew he did not have the votes, and yet we had the votes. So I guess you were wrong. Kelly Fountain says, heard Trump is coming February 27th to Waterford. Waterford County? You must mean Oakland County, Waterford, Michigan. I have not heard that. Interesting. I wonder if Trump's going to say anything about this. Dan Lawless says the 17th. Okay, maybe this is official. Gee, that's right after the county conventions. Wonder if Trump's going to have anything to say about this drama that is so huge in Michigan. Warren, and apparently in this text, assuming this is authentic, I've not authenticated him. Would you resign so I can lower quorum if you won't sign? Kelly Fountain says Justin Barkley said so. By the way, somebody asked me, I get all these emails from people that say, why don't you debate anybody on Kristina's side? I'm like, and apparently Kristina's telling people, I'll talk to Adam, even though she somehow never can get around to it. Never reaches out to me at all. But someone wrote me and said, how about you talk to someone on the KK side like Justin Barkley? So I reached out to Justin Barkley's radio show, because I was on there not long ago. And I said, hey, someone asked me about this, and we wanted to have a debate on my position, which is that Kristina Karamo is a charlatan, with someone who thinks otherwise. I've been told you're someone that might be willing to do it. Happy to do it on your show or mine, whatever you like. And the scheduler, whoever, got back and said, well, I'll pass it on to Justin, but I don't think that's his position. Just saying. Anyway, so what? Would you resign so I can lower quorum if you won't sign? Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's a funny joke. That's the idea. You're trying to get this guy to do the right thing. If not do the right thing, at least do the cowardly thing and resign, which is at least better than actually actively supporting evil, as this guy apparently chose to do. And he says, okay, can we speak then? Granted, I've put my life into this for 4 months and I can't get out there with you. I'm freaking out, stressed. Literally affected my marriage, man. Looking to put this to bed. Thanks again. Yeah, folks. Hey, you know what? It'd probably been more profitable for me not to talk about this stuff. But it's important because it matters. There's a really great comment from, let me show you this. It's a really great comment from Scott McMahon the other day. This is what he said. This is on X. Chris Wray said a few months ago that the biggest problem in 2024 would be violent MAGA extremist terrorists. We know that the FBI orchestrated the fake Whitmer kidnapping plot here in Michigan, and it's a documented fact that they devised January 6th, 2021. Why would they also not embed themselves into the GOP to create a radicalized, angry, and irrational mob that would divide and bankrupt the party? Good question. It'd be insane if they didn't. Mo Owens, JD, stole 6 figures from his last employer. He'd previously lost his law license. His ex-wife signed an affidavit that shows he was human filth. He got no probation, no jail time. While on probation, he's been in Michigan apparently full-time, deeply embedded in the Karamo inner circle. I have direct testimony that she traveled around the state with Owens. I've heard reports from people in attendance that he's at every one of her Q&A meetings, mingling with others of her inner circle. He's not a lone wolf in her organization. She's surrounded by people like this: Labadie, Kopis, Hartman, Welsh, all shady characters and among her closest advisors. Dan Lawless says, based on my work with Warren, I believe these communications are legit. Well, they could be. They're also completely innocent. They don't prove anything. They don't prove anything that he said was wrong. They're all things I would say, probably. Anyway, where was I? Hold on. Is this where I was? No, this isn't where I was. Well, since we're here, since we just read that that comment from Scott McMahon about Robert Morris Owens going all over Michigan all the time, you know, these terms of his probation are interesting because this only happened like less than a year ago. The defendant must not leave the state of Ohio without first securing the written consent of adult court services. Hope he did that. He's got permission to spend most of his time in Michigan, traveling all over the state with Kristina Karamo. Anyway, so that wasn't where I was. Let's finish off this email and call it a stream. And then, yeah, because we'll be done at that point. Share screen. The following things are certain truths. Karamo has been under assault since day one, as would be the case for anyone that intended to ensure election integrity. Well, actually, Warren Carpenter was a supporter of Kristina's, as were a lot of people who thought she was trying to do the right thing, and then very soon realized she wasn't. The current pretender to the throne was a plan in place since before Kristina Karamo even took office. It is provably false, because there was an election with 3 different candidates to replace her. Pete Hoekstra and Ronnie McDaniel represent the exact faction of Republicans that threw the 2020 election and left MIGOP in ruins. Well, actually, Ronnie was the national chair, and Pete Hoekstra was not involved at all. Already to take action, years in service. Robert Morris Owens, convicted felon. Director of Communications for Michigan Republican Policy. Well, there you go, folks. This is their last desperation play. Emma Birch says, Steve Carr made a video recently defending Kristina. Shame on him. Shame on him. He should. Well, we'll talk about Carr some other time. There you go, folks. So that is the amazing revelatory email from Robert Morris Owens that Warren Carpenter tried to get somebody to remove Kristina. What a crime. And actually said, I'll support you if you run for office if you support removing Kristina. What a terrible crime. And when he supported Kristina, then he got mad and told them, I'm not going to support you. I'll even oppose you if you run for office. What a terrible crime. And oh my gosh, Warner, Norcross, and Judd, a law firm with like 200 some lawyers, has the audacity to be the lawyers for Goshen. And therefore, clearly, every single thing else that they do in the world must be evil because they have a DEI policy. That's how pathetic these people are. They're sick. All right, folks, that'll do it for us for tonight. tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a blast seeing what happens in Kalamazoo. Fingers crossed. TRO. All right, guys, that's it for us for tonight. Thanks for all you for liberty. Until next time. Peace.